So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to my submission video of Soul Blazer for RPG Limit Break 2018. I'm going to be playing the Japanese version. I'm going to separately submit my English PB. There's a couple of differences between the versions. So the main reason I'm going to submit this as a specific submission video is that this version is shorter and easier. And I can point out the differences while I'm going through it. It just makes for a shorter submission video that way, so we're going to be going through that right as we go along. But yeah, as a preface to this game, I'm gonna select the file. We'll start out here. Our hero is basically a soul that is going to be sent down from the Master to Earth, because Earth, well, bad things have happened. An evil named Death Toll has taken over or made a deal with the king of the humans, King Magrid, and then basically sealed away all of the world, all the living things. And our goal now is in human form, like we're sent down in human form, and our goal now is to release the world effectively. So we just have to defeat monsters that spawn out of so-called monster lairs. And once we seal those layers, we can release people and all living things in the world. That's the basic preface for the game. You don't even need to know anything more than that, really. That's about as good as the story gets for this game. But yeah, timing starts when we advance this last introduction text box. So we're going to be going in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this basic tutorial here, every world will have like a major hub, like we were at the Master right now, where there's 3 war points and they will get you to 3 specific points in the game. This one's a tutorial, basically, the first monster that we sealed. And we get our first sword here, the Sword of Life, and we release this other soul from the heavens that now lives on Earth that will accompany us, this nice little magic ball here that is floating around us. He will assist us in our quests. And, yeah, additionally to, like, equipment-wise in this game, we got our first sword, which is, of course, very basic. Additionally, we can get armor and magic spells, and how magic spells are used, the soul, well, the, helper explained that these monsters drop things called gems, and for every magic spell you want to use, the soul can shoot magic. We did get the fireball spell. You need a certain amount of gems to actually be able to use it. For fireball, that is 4 gems per magic use. And magic is one of the most essential things in the speedrun, really, to speed up certain sections. Unfortunately, those gem drops, you can get 3 types of them. You need to get 1 gem, you can get 5 gems, or 10 gems for a drop. 1 obviously the most common one. Unfortunately, they are random, frame-based, so we're going to be praying a lot that we actually do get gems throughout the run. Damn it. Okay. Spawn this guy. Okay. But yeah, I got very good luck here. I have more gems than I need. I kinda screwed up a little bit, but that's fine. Talking and playing is a bit hard in this game. But yeah, the basic strats for the speedrun is really, like, it's relatively fast-paced, and what you are going to be trying to do a lot of the times is to spawn multiple enemies at the same time from multiple layers and seal them afterwards. Wherever you can do that, it's going to be employed. That's one of the main strategies, really. Just like here, I'm gonna spawn already the enemy lair down there while fighting this one. There we go. And we can seal this one and already 3 spawned down here. Enemy lairs have different types of spawns. Damn it. So So enemy layers can either spawn all monsters continuously until they spawn all monsters that were inside of them, or some of the layers you have to defeat them one by one. Can differ, and yeah, depending on that, we're going to try to seal them as fast as we can throughout the run. Now, you saw me do a little thing there called a Death Warp, and that's another basic, very, very basic strategy for the speedrun. We are going to be Death Warping a lot. Death Warping is probably saving us, I don't know, maybe 15-20 minutes in the run. The one downside to Death Warping is really that you do lose all your gems that you had at the time. I didn't kill all of these nerds, okay. Oh, that's fine. More experience for me. So, what ends up happening is that a lot of the times when we need gems to cast magic, we will be praying very hard because we're death warping a bunch throughout the game, and then we get set back to 0 gems. So we're kind of dependent on the next part dropping us good gems so we can go as fast as possible. It's a very minuscule optimization, honestly. You're not really like 100% dependent on gems, honestly. But if you want to go as fast as you possibly can, aka World Record jets, you do want to get those gem drops. Like, I'm getting insane luck, by the way, on gems. Which, for this part, it doesn't really matter, but okay. Yeah, coming back to equipment for a little bit, like I mentioned, we do have swords, we do have armor. We're not gonna get armor until World 3, though. So armor, we're speedrunners, we don't need armor. And we have magic spells, and there's only 2 magic spells that we're really going to get because they are already everything that we could possibly ask for. There's also, oops, this guy, I'm gonna do this. I'm scared. There's also, well, a 4th inventory slot for misc items. Stuff like, I collected something called the Dream Rod, for instance. There's going to be NPCs that are going to be sleeping that we release, and you can enter their dreams with that. Then you can get items that will power up your attack or defense, all that good stuff. So that's for the 4th inventory slot. And the 4th inventory slot is really special, actually, because that one you can preemptively equip, unlike the other ones. So if you equip an empty equipment slot... Okay, very good. On that one, it will automatically equip once you receive the item. Unlike for a sword, if I equip slot 4, and then get the 4th sword, that won't work. But yeah, that's the basic mechanics covered. Other than that, enemies, generally speaking, move depending on where you position yourself. So what ends up happening is, like, depending on your position, enemies will take a certain movement. There's a few exceptions to that, and I'm gonna point them out once we get there. But yeah, right now, I did get the Dream Rod earlier. I already equipped it. And now I can enter this girl's dream, and usually in dreams you can like do stuff like this, where actually in the dreams you have a layer that you can seal, and then it will advance through the dungeon, or the dungeon you're supposed to go through. Oops. I mashed too fast, I got an extra text box there. But yeah, from here you also see that we have experience, and experience is actually another very important component of the speedrun. Because, of course, the experience values, like, enemies give a certain amount of experience. You saw most of them gave me 1, some give me 2 right now, because we're in the World 1. Leveling up will refill all your health. And that is very, very, very important, because you do want to time your level ups in a way where they will occur at very, very convenient moments. Like in some spots later on, we will have to take damage boosts in order to go as fast as possible. And in order to do that, to do that most efficiently, you want to get those level ups at very specific points. So for the speedrun, we do know when we get level up. The first level up we're going to get right now is an 100 experience, so we're going to get it in this next area. We're going to go into the painting. This one's really, like, the first one doesn't really matter that much, but from there it gets a bit more crucial. Okay, so this first level up, by the way, so how leveling works, you do get more HP, obviously, you get a refill, but what also happens is every second level, like on level 2 I get one more attack, which is really, really nice. On level 3 I will get defense, and it changes like that. So on 2 you get attack, on 4 you get attack, on 6 you get attack, and so on and so forth. On 3, 5, 7, and so on and so forth, you get one additional defense point, which is really, really nice. And as you can see, as long as I stand in the correct positions, these enemies will be at my mercy, pretty much. One thing I didn't point out yet, aside from actually swinging your sword to deal damage, you can also just poke enemies, which we're not really going to be seeing that much. Can you please open the chest? Thank you. Honestly, it's a really... I can't get that picture. It's a really nice way of actually killing enemies, to be honest. Let's try to shoot magic at these guys. Poking will deal 1 continuous damage, no matter what. Unlike sword swinging, which will actually be based on your power. But poking can make a lot of enemies very easy to kill. So, and one item later on in the game that we are going to be obtaining in World 3 will make poking very, very effective. Alright, so this is the last layer of World 1 here. I forgot to count. Every monster layer obviously has a certain amount of enemies in it. I'm gonna say that was 4. So as long as you know the number, you know exactly when the last enemy dies, and you can move on. Now, I did equip a medical herb, which is a very nice item that you can find in some places. This is the first boss, by the way. Don't blink. Okay, very nice. So yeah, bosses in this game are really easy, for the most part. They end up being very vulnerable to the poking I talked about earlier. This one in particular is very, very, very much easier in the Japanese version, because in the Japanese version you don't have a conveyor belt in the middle, so you can just stand there and he dies. The medical herb, whenever you go to 0 health, will refill all your health, so that's a very essential pickup that I made there. And that way the boss is just completely free. You can just stand there and he'll die. In the English version, the middle is also a conveyor belt, so the strat there is a bit different. And a little bit more precise, but not too really, like, that much more difficult. So once you release, or beat the boss of a world, you will release the, well, mayor, head honcho of the world, whatever, and he will give you a stone that we'll need to unlock the world of evil at the end of the game, where we will find the final boss. So yeah, basically we're going to go through 6 worlds like that, and well, we'll end up that will end up making our way to the final world in the game. So this is Greenwood right now. Everything is green, and especially these plants. So this is a world of animals. Like, you will release animals here. These plants up there, I mentioned earlier that all enemies are moving dependent on your positioning. These ones, not so much. These are the birds of the game. These guys are jerks. I'm gonna try to get this layer. That one went away. Not supposed to get that one yet, but if you're lucky, you can. But yeah, plants move randomly, so that's gonna be fun to deal with. I need a gem. Please. Ha! Got him! Okay, so I preemptively already cleared out that layer on the right there, which saved a lot of time. But yeah, these plants are going to be reoccurring in this world, and they are going to be amazingly annoying because you can't control them. Now, whenever they shoot out their vine, they are invincible as well, so that doesn't really help my case here. But yeah, gonna see how that goes. I don't know what that guy did, but it was annoying. But we did get our level up there, which does give us one more attack. Very nice. Oh yeah, this is the world of the animals, so we're going to be releasing moles, squirrels, and all that good stuff. Pretty much, relatively straightforward world here. This world is one of the most RNG dependent, though. You're definitely very, very dependent on your gem counter in a couple of locations in order to go as fast as you can. Well, 2 and 4 pretty much are the ones that are the big ones on those. Hello, die. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. That went well, that was good. So yeah, more than anything, we're hoping for gems in this world. 22 at this point is really nice, actually. The reason I killed the other monsters there in the lair was basically just for experience purposes. We do want to have gain as much experience as we can in this area, so we get the level 6 level up later on as early as possible, because that will give us another attack point, which effectively makes it a little bit faster. Again, though, we're still running with the first sword right now, and we're going to be continuing that trend throughout the next 2 worlds. Plus, we're not gonna get any armor, so yay. 3, 4, nice. 5. There's 8 in here. 6, neat. 7. 8. See, lovely plants. Alright, so we're going to get a level up here, which is a very well designed one, because if you get unlucky, these plants will hit you more than once. And that can be a bit of a bummer. And you don't want to waste your medical herb before this area, which is called the Fire Shrine. Nice, that was good gem drops. By the way, I'm walking up here to spawn the fire golems in the top right there, or top left, so I can shoot them from here. And then seal their lair, or release their lair preemptively. I'd like to not get hit if possible, please. Okay, 57 gems is a pretty good number, honestly. Definitely above average, so we're doing good on that. Now here, there are these sort of invisible lizards. They will teleport after they spawn. Why did I think that one? They still have a hurt box though, so they can still hurt you while they're teleporting. They are very, very annoying because they also move randomly, so they can just decide to completely move out of your way and then not be reachable for you to kill. I got relatively lucky there, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, they're another very big obstacle in this world, which we do actually want the gems for. You haven't seen me use the gems yet, but we're going to get there in just a second. So we're going to actually go seal a lair that is not mandatory to seal, right here. And the reason for that is because it will give us the most powerful magic spell in the game. This thing will give us the Light Arrow spell, which is completely overpowered. It costs 8 gems to cast, but you'll see what it does soon, hopefully. So we're going to try to shoot the guys in the top there, if we can, and yeah, it one-shots them, which is amazing. And the guy moved up. So if we get unlucky, unfortunately, the lizards in the top right there will move up, and then we can't hit them anymore. Our plan was to actually shoot them after killing one of these guys, but yeah. That didn't quite work out in our favor. He can come back down, but he didn't cooperate, unfortunately. Okay. had to use the medical herb that we got earlier, unfortunately very early too, so that's not very good, but it is what it is. That's the big RNG component of World 2 here. If you don't get lucky, you don't get lucky. We're still very good on gems though, so I'm not too worried. I'm gonna have to take a pause here, like I'm damage boosting over these things. I'm gonna have to pause here because I need a certain amount of health to get through the last part here. Should be all of them. That was... So every layer I'm releasing, obviously, is something that we need on our journey. It's not like the game will particularly tell, hey, you know, you need this guy in order to advance the story, but we're just going to make sure that we get the most essential things along the way. Pretty much skipping over all additional stuff that you could potentially release. Alright, we do want to kill those two, at least for experience. My experience is kind of wonky, but yeah. That was the Friar Shrine. We're going to equip the Dream Rod real fast, because one of the birds were sleeping. And then we're going to be going back to Greenwood, because in order to get to the Light Shrine, which is the final area of this world, we do need an item that we have to get in Greenwood. So this bird is sleeping, and in his dreams there's going to be Turbo the dog here, famous for this series of games. And Turbo passed away, but Turbo was the one that actually had the stone for this world that we need. And below his remains there's the Leaves of Greenwood, which we need in order to reach the Light Shrine. The reason for that being, the rafts that lead us to the Light Shrine, they are sentient, and they will need a proof that we are allies of Greenwood, and those Leaves of Greenwood are that proof. So yeah, now that we got the leaves, we don't need to equip them, we can just pass over here. Okay, now that we are in the Light Shrine, this very first area is actually a really interesting one because you can abuse magic in its purest way. You can spawn so many layers that you need to kill at the same time and then just shoot and kill everything. It's amazing. So I want to make sure that we do get... oh, I got him. There we go. That we do get the gems from the killed enemies, because yeah, you see I'm 13 now, and I do need a couple for the next part. Now, essentially, I wanted to get the level up that I just now got one enemy earlier, just at the end of that gauntlet there, down there. I got it one enemy late, unfortunately, because I missed the kill, but that's fine. Because now, as you can probably see, actually, I can kill these lizards that are teleporting a little bit faster with my sword swings, which is really nice. Ah, that sun hit me. Yeah. So what I'm going to be trying to do here is very precise movement. After the sun gets out of the way, playing it safe. So I'm moving very precisely there to not only spawn the fire golems on the left there, I'm also spawning lizards in the top left. And I need to move very, very precisely in order for them to not move. Hopefully I can do it. It's very precise, like the movements I'm taking are actually... I think I didn't spawn one of them. Ah, nice. If you mismove by just half a tile, they will start moving. You even saw, like, one of them did actually start moving, even though I have no idea how he did it, but yeah, that's a very efficient way of dealing with those in one shot. Because if they are all over the place, then, well, that's not good for you. You'll take a long time to actually kill them. So from here, we're just going to pretty much deal with the enemies normal, and then go to the boss of this world, which is going to be rather difficult. I have 41 gems, which is a bit less than I would ideally want, but definitely manageable. Okay. So I'm gonna take the safety layer here. I will have to seal this one anyways, like that one, because it gives me a teleporter. Whenever you go to a teleport, you get full health back. Excuse me. But especially in the Japanese version of this game, you do want to actually seal that layer before going to the boss. The boss is very, very tricky. And this is one of the bosses that is going to be completely different in this version compared to the US version. They look the same, but they are not. So these are the 3 lion head statues. And the first two statues will always behave the same across versions, which is very nice because we can just exploit that. The third one, however, will have a completely different movement pattern depending on what version you play, and the Japanese one is a bit harder to exploit. Trying our best here. There we go. Alrighty. That was pretty nice, but yeah, the Japanese one, it looks easier, but you cannot do it without taking damage. That's the hard part. You have to take damage at least one time. I mean, there is a strat where you don't take damage, but it's 20 seconds slower. We don't do that stuff. So you effectively have to have either a certain amount of health, or you have to be really confident in your movements to not actually take damage on that boss. But yeah, that was relatively... It looked easy, but it's a bit terrifying. So after that, release the Guardian of Greenwood, and we will be able to get the green stone here and move on to the next world, World 3. Now, World 3 is probably the longest world in the game? Question mark? But that's mainly because you have to do a lot of death warps in this world. So the first area, this is going to be a bit scary. We still don't have armor, so we're taking 4 damage from everything, if not more. Which is really, really, really scary. And there you go, so we have to take damage at some points. Additionally, we still have our sort of life only, so our main source of damage right now is going to be magic, so we want to be as efficient as possible with our magic spells. I didn't forget about this guy being in a different position on this version. I'm gonna kill this guy real fast because he's annoying. As you can see, I'm already down quite a few health points. But yeah, dying here is a relatively common thing if you're low on gems in a no reset run, or in a real marathon run. I would probably pick up extra gems and chests. Nice, this guy is not even annoying. Yeah, this is gonna suck, but whatever. Oh boy. Okay. So I'm out of gems, which is really, really bad. As you can see, these stones suck. Okay, got the shot. Nice. That was a bit unfortunate, really, that the plant decided to... These plants are also random. But, like... they're not as bad as the other ones because they have their hitbox active at all times, so you can kill them whenever. But him moving to the top right and then shooting me in that direction is really unlucky. Oh, we got through the area, which is the most important part, I guess. And we're going to be death warping. Now get used to that. This world especially has a ton of death warps. For our efforts, though, we released this mermaid, which is going to give us the bubble armor, our first actual armor in the game, which we do need. As you can see, I'm taking damage underwater here, if you have the bubble armor equipped, you'll have a bubble surrounding you that will give you air and make you take no damage. So yeah, we're gonna set up another death warp here. 6 monkeys in total. Donkey Kongs, I'm sorry. Not monkeys, Donkey Kongs. So I just want to release one of these statues right here, and this is the big reason why this is so Death Warp heavy. There's 4 of these statues that will open up paths to another area. And the fastest way to get back to them, well, is doing this. So yeah, that's going to be happening quite a few times. This is a good time to read donations. We don't need donations. I want to preemptively equip that slot, because they're going to get a special item for that slot that we'll need to use in the future. So yeah, these jellyfish underwater, by the way, these guys are also random, unless you are 1 tile away from them. Then you can pull that, like you can see, I'm 1 tile away from them spawning, basically. And they will just aggro me then. If I am too far away, I could actually demonstrate that if I wanted to, but I'm racing Stinger, like, virtually, so I'm not going to. Oh my god, that's a good gem drop. So yeah, whenever they spawn, you want to be away horizontally 1 tile from them, because then they will just aggro onto you. If you don't do that, they can swim away, go off screen, all that good stuff, which we don't want that to happen. So now we are in an area called Rockbird, which our basic goal here is just to release another statue. There's a whole bunch of enemies here. I've already reached the gem count I need. I only need 3 magic shots ideally in this area, so we're good on that. Unfortunately, these monkeys only spawn 1 by 1. There's also a safety item here I could get, but please. Spawn the layer down there preemptively, and then gonna go there. So yeah, you are basically just going through here, destroying the water. I'm gonna pull this rock 2 tiles down, and that is very important. Alright, because now they are set up in a way where I can manipulate my soul to shoot them all at once, which is really nice. Okay, we want to take damage here as much as we can without dying. I think that does it, yeah. Ideally I want to be on 1 HP, but yeah, this will release another statue, and you guessed it, we are going to Death Warp again. I'll take a sip of coffee, and then move on. Fortunately, the bubble armor that we have to get here also does have normal, like, defense values, so we did get a good upgrade on armor there for free, basically. It's really nice. So yeah, from here we're going to the next area, which is going to be the volcanic island of Durian. Now what you can do for Durian, and what you're supposed to do casually, is to collect an item called the Mermaid Tears, which there's going to be lava rain in Durian that is random, and you're supposed to make it stop and, you know, make the volcano stop erupting and all that. But we're speedrunners, we ain't got no time for that, so we're going to go fast and just deal with it. What that effectively means is that Durian is probably one of the hardest areas in the game, because you're not allowed to take damage, really. I'm only allowed to take about 5 health of damage. Can you please select the jellyfish there? That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Okay, that lost me a bit of time. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of rocks flying around in Durian, and we have to step over some lava, which deals 4 damage per damage tick to you. And we do need to go over lava one time in order to seal a lair. If we don't have enough health for that, well, we're screwed. So we have to do very, very precise health management here in this area, and these lava rocks that are falling down, they have no pattern. They are random. So good luck to us. Additionally to that, in order to make this area as fast as possible, we do want to get a good amount of gem drops from the enemies. Which, the number we are actually looking at, there you go, I just randomly got a rock to the face. The number we are looking for right now for gems is 63. That's a very safe number. We can do it with less, but we need to get lucky then. 34 at this point is pretty nice, because we'd still have to seal 2 more layers, so... Nice, another rock to the face. The good thing about if you release a creature, depending on the world you're in, I'm getting really unlucky right now, you'll get health back. So in World 1 you get 1 health back for a released creature, in World 2 you get 2, and in World 3 is 3, so... We're going to be releasing 1 more here. I got hit by the bubble, that's my bad. Okay, so we have 1 more creature. You saw I had 5 damage taken. Now we're going to get back some health. Very nice. It's 2 just. But yeah. I don't have enough gems, unfortunately. And this guy is being special. He dropped a big gem, though. Okay. That was very lucky. I need to... Yeah, I wanted to kill that guy just in case, so we have 25 now. We need to get lucky now, you'll see why soon. There's this lava light that I talked about that deals 4 damage every damage tick, and those ticks are ridiculous. But yeah, we want to kill that monkey lair below us right now. There's 5 monkeys in that lair, and we need, obviously, 5 shots of magic, which will be... Oh, nice. Why be good when you can be lucky, honestly? Okay, and that's basically all for that layer. The reason we wanted to do that, if we don't kill all the monkeys right there with magic, we have to walk all the way around and then pull them from the top. Because otherwise, they won't go to the right side where we came from. And as you can see, the lava is very, very vicious. So, but yeah, that went really well, honestly. Very nicely done. Obviously releasing 1 more statue, for good measure. And we also released a dolphin, if you paid attention, who was called Lou the Dolphin, over here. And this guy had the blue stone that we're looking for. However, the Queen of this world took the blue stone away from him. And, yeah, now we have to kind of release the Queen in order to get that stone back. And, after talking to Lou, we are obtaining an item called the Thundering, which we are going to be... It sounds like an amazing... A Thundering? Awesome item, right? Well, I guess, Thundering is going to be used exactly once in the run, and the reason for that is going to become very apparent once we get to the next area. Let's just say... It's really not going to be useful, because, of the way it works. Yeah, these crabs. I really can take some damage here as well. To set up for Death Warp. Spoilers, we're going to Death Warp. But yeah, whenever these crabs are hiding in their shells, they are invincible for, or impervious to my sort of life. So yeah, quickly demonstrate. There's these nodes right there, as you can see. Let's demonstrate what the Thundering does if you get close. The Master will send down lightning from the heavens and destroy everything. And yeah, that's the only use of the Thundering, really. Like, you can't use it anywhere else. I'm gonna take some damage here. And I fucked up. I screwed up. I screwed up. I screwed up! I caught myself. I was supposed to... Oh, come on, man. Can you please lightning? Thank you. I was supposed to wait for that last monkey, but I didn't to guide him. The reason the lightning didn't come down there, it's supposed to come down every couple seconds. But if there's too many objects on the screen, like you saw the monkeys throw rocks, if there's too many objects on screen, it can't spawn the lightning because of sprite limitations. It's great. It's amazing. It's a good way to kill your run. Yeah, that's the last statue we gotta release. These monkeys that are gray are metal monkeys, so you can't kill them with the normal sword. That's why we needed the Thunder Ring. The only reason for it. But yeah, now we get access to a ghost ship in the west, and that's the final area in this world. Additionally, you also saw me already equip another item, which is going to be the most important item for the speedrun. Absolutely invaluable. And we're going to make a slight detour for this one too, to the right here. This item that I'm picking up here is the Power Bracelet, and it exactly does what it implies. It empowers you. The thing is, remember how pokes deal 1 damage with every hit? Well, now they do 2, because of the Power Bracelet. It effectively doubles your attack, which is crazy. That's a crazy OP item that we want to have equipped at all times, almost. Got my level up here, which is pretty nice. Level 9 means I have 1 more defense point, which is really nice for the boss fight here. Now this boss is not going to be too different from the English version. The only difference here is that in the English version, this boss has more health. Yeah, this is the Ghost Head. Now, the Ghost Head will come down and shoot fire. The actual dangerous part about this boss is the hands, because the hands have a random amount of HP, and it's random how long it takes to kill them. Dang. I should have been more aggressive. You can 2-cycle this boss in this version. I should have been more aggressive because I had level 9, but I wasn't. Oh well. But yeah, bosses are generally, if you know how bosses work in this game, they are really, really easy. They also almost all of them react depending on where your position is on the map, so as long as you know how they behave, they are completely free and easy. If you play it casually for the first time, they can be quite difficult, actually. Until you figure out how they exactly work, but yeah. That's World 3 down. On to World 4, which is going to be the Mountain of Souls. First, we of course gotta get our stone, because we like stones. The blue stone. And then we're going to be moving on to the Mountain of Souls. Now, the Mountain of Souls is a relatively chill and easy area, in theory. The big thing about the Mountain of Souls is that the fastest way to kill most of the enemies is to get gem drops, because then you can cast Light Arrow. So we're going to be hoping to get a bunch of those from enemies throughout this world, because that will make our life that much easier. It's not like it's impossible to... That's really lucky for now already. It's not impossible to do this area even with 0 gems. It just takes a really long time. Alright, so these snowballs also damage you, as you can see. Ah, my bad. I'm supposed to do that. So here we got 50 gems, a medical herb, and the magic armor. Now the magic armor, not only does it give us more defense and it's magical, but it also halves the spell cost of every spell. So instead of using 8 gems for a light arrow, it now only costs 4, which is amazing. I think that's my 5th one here. The last one I want to kill with the light arrow, and then move on. So yeah, that's a really, really nice grab. It's on the way too, so we're definitely not skipping out on that. Shooting the Yeti from afar there. And as you notice, it's of course also an ice area, so we're going to be sliding a little bit here on the ice. Okay. Nope. Mistake. That was badly played. I don't want to spawn those two at the bottom until I can align my magic to kill a Yeti, so I lost a little bit of time there. Very unfortunate. But yeah, we want to release this layer. This will release this little guy, who tells us that he has mushroom shoes that will help us traverse these icy areas. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back. These fairy statues have the power to take you back to the town area, which we're going to be doing because we do sadly need these mushroom shoes. And we only need the mushroom shoes for one specific thing. We need them to actually just traverse the area we were just in. That's it. Other than that, we don't need them at all. So if somebody could please figure out how to skip these mushroom shoes, I'd be thankful. Because we have to literally walk up all the way back. Just because of those. I mismoved here already, I'm gonna get hit more than one time, yeah. We leave the Slayer until now. We're gonna get a health refill, and it's a bit more on the way now. Remember the bats I killed earlier. Okay, we have 95 gems, which is amazing, actually. But yeah, this ice we slid on earlier, we can now walk over with the mushroom shoes equipped, and this is the only place where I actually need it. I also, out of reflex, switched to the power bracelet here, which I should not do. It's not a bad thing. It's just one menu. It has 2 menus. But what you can do here is just like do this part without the power bracelet. This guy was not very cooperative. He did, however, leave 10 gems behind, so I'm gonna forgive him. 108, alright. Fair enough. There we go. So yeah, these vampires, or some might call them wizrobes, if you get too close to them, they start teleporting. So hitting them with physical attacks is actually pretty hard, because you have to wait through the teleport, which makes these light arrows so much more valuable. These bats that spawned just now will circle around you, and you can hit them twice with a magic shot, but they are very precise, so I got a pretty good sequence of things right there. But yeah, we're pretty much just going to make our way through the mountain, releasing a couple of things here. Nice. Slayer will have 6 bats. Oops, I almost shot too late there. Counting is hard, man. I'm gonna take that even though my gem count is impeccable. This is really, really lucky. So far so good. You can see I'm trying to manipulate my soul to shoot as soon as possible to save the most of the time that I can. It's very hard to control that though, since soul setups, effectively, you never play one-to-one the same, so the soul will rotate differently every single time you enter an area, or you're anywhere. So it's really hard to get used to, hard to master. Yeah. Okay, so I just now got my first sword upgrade, which is the Lucky Blade. The Lucky Blade does, theoretically, increase the amount of gems that drop, which is amazing. It's also stronger than my first sword, obviously, but that's beside the point, because one thing in this game, unfortunately, is that swords have level requirements. Now, that doesn't mean I can't equip them, it does mean that I can't swing them. So all I can do with the Lucky Blade right now is poke with it. So it's effectively no better than my Sword of Life, except it increases the gems that the enemies drop, theoretically. The level requirement to actually swing the Lucky Blade is 14. So until we get that... Can you please die? So until we get that, well, all we can do is poke and shoot magic, which is the fastest anyway, so that works kind of for us. Alright, I pulled these bats there, which is not the fastest strat you can do, but it's very good on your gem count. Because you do have to kill those bats eventually anyways. Can this bat please not be a douche? Thank you. So combining the two layers I just did, would save gems for you. Didn't quite work out in my favor there, but it would, theoretically. Okay, so we're not only picking up the Lucky Blade because it's actually useful, in theory. You do need to pick up the Lucky Blade because there's an old guy that we released earlier who guards the next area that is the final area of this world, which he won't let you through unless you have the Lucky Blade, so it's actually mandatory. Hey, that guy over there, he's all like, nope, you don't have the Lucky Blade, sorry bro. Gotta get it. Okay, 42 gems all of a sudden is not that great anymore. It's definitely manageable, but it's not that great. Let's shoot these guys. Awesome. Get drops. Alright, we're good. Pretty much. So yeah, the rest of this will pretty much also be... we're making our way towards the boss by using our magic as efficiently as possible. So if you have any donations, now would be a great time to read some of them. Capital. Alright, and we're back. Nice donations, thank you all for donating. Kappa. Okay, so this is the final room of this world, and there's going to be a huge amount of enemies here, which is the main reason we wanted that many gems in the first place. Okay, that's very nice. Got the vampire as well. So yeah, we're going to effectively, whenever we see the lair almost in this room here, we're going to spawn another one that we need to kill. So this is going to be a bit rough on our gem count, but yeah. I didn't do that correctly. Because counting is too hard for me. Alright, fine. 2, 3... Note that I killed that one bat from that one layer. That's important, actually. Whoops. Shut out this slightly too early there. Because the two layers that we're going to be spawning in the middle are actually essential to finishing the whole game. Like, they are going to be important for that purpose. I'm gonna kill this guy, he's annoying. So that's 2 bats. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now the last one I want to pull up. And then kill right there. And then enter the boss chamber. Now, on the Japanese version, spoiler warning, please censor this. Thank you. This is Medusa. And Medusa, it's not made for children. However, in the Japanese version, that is one of the huge differences to the English version. You can actually 3-cycle this boss. In the English version, you have a boss called Poseidon here, which effectively looks the same, except it's male. And takes 4 cycles instead of 3, because the side platforms that I used there to deal as much damage as I can on the second cycle, they're gone in the US version, so you can't abuse those. But yeah, just an aside, if the committee should decide that for some reason we're running or racing the Japanese version, if it even gets in, there's ways to censor this, so there's that. My innocent eyes. Okay, so the reason we released these 2 layers is we released 2 grandmas, and if you think, I forgot to split, if you think those grandmas are just there for show, they are not. They are the most important part about this world. The king, we don't care about the king. The king, it's not important. The grandmas, though, the grandmas, they are the real important part. Why that is, we'll see about in half an hour? Yeah, half an hour sounds about right. We did also release a snail here, the snail gnome, who gives us the silver stone. And yeah, once we get the stone, we're effectively allowed to go to the next world, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Which is going to be Leo's lab. Now, I told you at the beginning of the run that the story for this game is basically that the evil Death Toll made a contract with King Magritte, and that, you know, basically backfired immensely for us. We're now in an area called Leo's laboratory. The way King Magritte was actually able to contact Death Toll is through an invention of this Dr. Leo. And this Dr. Leo, his friends are the ones that actually effectively gave us all these stones so far. So he gave these stones that opened the door to the world of evil to all his friendly pals, which is the Snail Gnome, Turbo the Dog, the mayor of the first town, and Lou the Dolphin so far. This area here, Leo's laboratory, will have Mary the Doll that we need to release because she has another stone, and she's the toy that Lisa, her daughter, his daughter, used to play with. So take it as you will. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, this world has a lot of enemies in the lab, and especially in the basement here. They're considered metal enemies, and these metal enemies are you know, unbeatable for your Lucky Blade. However, we do pick up a sword there called the Sentetsu Sword, which pierces metal defense. Let's kill these guys. I should get my level up now soon. So these helicopters, for instance, are metal, and we can only pierce it because we have the Sentetsu Sword equipped right now. The Sentetsu Sword has a level 16 requirement to be able to be swung. So this is no good. That's fine. We can only dream of swinging that sword for the time being, but yeah. This is probably also the hardest area in the game to speedrun, because even though we do have armor, there's a lot of very precise movement you have to do in order to kill enemies effectively, plus they do a ton of damage to you. So we have to be especially careful. There's more lava plates here. You could actually get an item in World 2 that is called the Ice Armor, which would make these lava tiles deal no damage to you. However, that is so out of the way that it's not worth getting. Alright, gotta make sure that these rats don't run away from me. Alrighty. That is a very tough layer to do, to get down to do properly. Once you get the hang of it, it's relatively easy, but yeah. Rats do tend to escape very easily. We do have a medical herb again. We're gonna run through a couple of enemies now. If you don't get the ice armor, you do need this medical herb, because otherwise you'll just die. So this is why this area is so precise. You can't take too much damage or else you're screwed. Okay, I'm gonna focus for this part. I'm gonna try to combine two layers here. Spawn, okay. Spawn, alright. Ah! There we go. That still saves time over doing those separately. I'm also going to be focusing for the next part, serious time. Because these rats cannot get away from me. I'm a bit uncertain how I am on XP, so I'm not gonna take any extra damage. I should get my level up, which is unfortunate. Yeah, 40 XP off them. I should get my level up. Up there. I should have killed one more enemy. Oh well. Okay. Getting the level up there is a bit bad because we do want to death warp here. And obviously if you can set it up in a way where you have less health than I have right now, that'd be nice because you save time, but yeah, it is what it is. That went reasonably well. Honestly, for me, having to talk over it, that went pretty nicely. Probably the hardest area in the game. From here, it gets a bit easier for this world at least. Yeah, so now that we went through this basement, we released this little toy town here that we can get sucked into, and then we fight miniature creatures. It's amazing. These are considerably much more easier than like the metal enemies we faced in the basement, because we can kill most of these with normal weaponry. And magic, of course, give me that. So, and since we are level 15 now, we can also swing the Lucky Blade, which is, of course, empowering us pretty heavily. So most of this stuff is going to be relatively straightforward, killing-wise, or, like, gameplay-wise. So if you do have some donations, please feel free to read them out right now. Did lose my magic cycle there. Greetings from Germany. Exactly. Alright. So at the end here, we're going to try, and my magic cycle was really bad there. This is gonna lag the game pretty heavily, So I was trying to shoot magic in a way where it wouldn't lag the game that much, but my soul decided to be of the opinion that lagging the game is a very fun thing to do. Alright, that's fine. If I didn't have enough gems, all I need really is 12 gems at this point, which doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah, I've had actually 8 gems at this point, which I don't know how I did that, but I guess I just didn't pay attention. But yeah, we released another model town, and there's one layer in particular here that we need to seal, because it will lead us to the final area of Leo's laboratory. There's invisible catapults here. Okay. Oh, I shot 1 times too many. I need 16 gems for this one. Bang. Not 12. And yeah, you guessed it, we're death warping. But yeah, now we unlocked the final area of this laboratory, and there's going to be one item that we're going to take a slight detour for in here. And it's going to be an armor upgrade. Now, the reason we do this is that this armor will effectively make the next couple areas possible. You can skip this if you're absolutely batshit insane, and I'm not gonna rephrase that. You can skip this. But, yeah, no way in hell is anybody sane going to skip this light armor. It's just too good. It allows you to do a lot of damage boosting as well, so like you don't have to pay attention to anything. Additionally, we also did get level 16, which allows us to swing the Sentetsu sword, which is really nice. As you might have noticed, as we progress in the game, enemies' experience values, that was really stupid, do increase significantly. Like, these enemies all of a sudden give us so much experience that we just, like, catch up on levels like crazy. And that's pretty much intended. Ooh, nice. We do want to get gems, actually, from these guys. Pretty nice. Okay, we're gonna take the teleporter to refill health. Since I took the extra hit, I am... If you're chancing it, you can actually go to this next boss without a health refill, but that requires you to not get hit in the place where I got hit by the rotating spike. The reason being, I'm gonna try to demonstrate... Yeah. Oh, you can try to pull this guy down, and then you take 2 hits right there. I could have actually done it still, wow. Crazy. But yeah, the boss is relatively simple. There's a small difference in this boss in the Japanese version. He shoots the rockets that he shot a bit later in this version than in the US version. Which, it doesn't really make the fight that much different, but it's there, I guess. So yeah, we released Mary the Doll, we're gonna get our stone from her. And then we'll move on to the final world, or, well, final... non-World of Evil area. I don't know. World 6! Let's call it World 6. Megareth's Castle, which is going to be... difficult, but manageable. We did get really good gems, by the way. Like, 38 is a very good number at this point. Alright. Okay. So, as you might have noticed, I've talked about a little bit with the Sentetsu sword, it defeats metal enemies that otherwise can't be hurt. There is a similar thing going on here in this world. There's going to be ghosts here, and these ghosts are the worst thing in this game, almost. And we need a specific sword in order to actually be able to hurt them, which is going to be the Spirit Sword. Now, we're going to get the Spirit Sword right off the bat after we defeat this guy here. We spawn this chest, and it's going to give us the Spirit Sword. However, the swinging requirement for that one is level 19. And, yeah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Another thing is ghosts do randomly disappear, as you can see, and just like circle around you if you position yourself well, but at the same time, I'm getting pretty lucky here, unless this guy doesn't appear. Please, dude. Thank you. So yeah, what I did there, by the way, I swung my sword with the Sentetsu sword and then switched to the Spirit sword, which effectively made it the Spirit sword swing, which is a glitch. It's not glitchless! No! Okay, but yeah, that way you can get one swing in with the Spirit sword, which is very nice. This will just have... That was a very good swing there. Level up, yep, that's Zigzag one. Please appear, yeah. The time they take to reappear is random. Like, you either get lucky or you don't. I got so lucky here, but it was definitely not the worst I've ever had. There's one more ghost lair we do need to finish in this basement area of Magritt's castle. But yeah, other than that, this area is really straightforward, honestly. We're going to pick up 2 invisible chests here, which are going to contain a strange bottle. The first one I picked up there, which we haven't picked up yet so far, and another medical herb. You can guess what we use the medical herb for damage boosting, obviously. The strange bottle is a very nice item, actually. Remember how when you die, you lose all your gems that you have? Now, if you die with a strange bottle equipped, you get to keep your gems. Which is obviously a very good thing for death warping, and that's what we're going to be doing at the end of this rotation here. Alright. Oh, yeah. I mean, since it's a no reset run, I'm not really gonna worry about my gem counts. So usually, like I said, we were going to retain the gems at the end of this specific area here. And we do kind of want a pretty high number for those. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter for a no reset run. It's just optimization again. Needless optimization that... Come here. We need to worry about. Alright, there's one last ghost lair. This lair has 8 ghosts, I want to say? Maybe 7 or 6, I don't know. There's too many to count, really. Alright, this is it. Boom. Oh, yeah. I'm not even getting hit. This is actually... I kind of want to get hit. Where's the last one? Where are you? There you are. I kind of want to get hit a little bit there. I didn't, though, which is fine. So yeah, after releasing the soldier, we're going to be able to death warp. And yeah, we're going to equip the strange bottle. And then off we go. Now you can see, since we had the bottle equipped, we're at 42 gems after our death warp, which is really nice. So then we want to equip this. As you can see, the bottle is also gone. We did find a harp string in the basement, which you do need in order to continue the game. Now, how you're supposed to know where to get this harp string is anybody's guess, but this guy is a musician, and he needs it in order to play music. And unless you do this, the soldier will never move, but the soldier has a key, or a card below his feet. Right here, this silver card, and we do need it in order to access this area here. And off we go. So usually I would shoot the guy up there. My gem count is kind of questionable though. So I'm gonna refrain from doing of course. Okay, thanks game. As you can see, I want to try to use my gems in order to shoot enemies. Ooh, that was a really nice lair release, actually. I screwed with the game there, because the lag frame allowed me to actually kill the horse head with one magic shot. That's really nice. Love that. That's really lucky. Yeah. Okay. These fireballs only do 2 damage to me, so whenever I get hit, I want to be hit by the fireballs instead of like normal enemies. Normal enemies deal a good chunk of damage here, so we want to make sure that we don't get hit by those. Now, I did specifically change my direction there in order to enter this area with the boomerang throwers the way I did, because otherwise they will hit you with their boomerang. Okay. Got 64 gems, which is insane. That's actually insane at this point. Because I'm supposed to use all my gems in the previous room, but yeah. Oh yeah, also since we have the light armor on, obviously, my magic spell costs 8 gems again. That's something to pay attention to. Alright, and we reached level 19 here, which makes it possible for us to actually swing the Spirit Sword, so I want to switch to that as soon as possible, because it does more damage than the Synthesis Sword, that's the simple reason. But yeah, in this first tower here, not only can we get access to the final area of this world, we also will release Dr. Leo, the inventor of the machine that enabled us to contact Death Toll in the first place. And yeah, he wants to release the king on this airship here, and then go to the world of evil and confront Death Toll, so we need to help him realize that. Let's go back to town, and yeah, right, put the Spirit Sword and a Phantom item already. Okay, so we also released the Queen right here, and if we tell her that she's beautiful, she'll give us the VIP card, which we actually need in order to enter this tower here. Okay, so this is the final area of World 6. Always re-equip your power bracelet. My soul didn't line up. Hate that. This is first room here. We need to seal a bunch of layers in order to actually be able to proceed with the game, because the 5th layer that we're going to seal here is going to release the castle that we actually need in order for the king to spawn in. I didn't count on that one because I was talking. Okay, let's try to shoot the magic. That was not that good. But yeah, we're now going to release a soldier, which will effectively actually release the castle. If you don't do this, and beat the boss in this world, the king will just be a soul that you can't talk to, because he doesn't have a castle to spawn in. It's pretty funny. Alright, we're gonna take a damage boost here, our health was good. Also, I kind of manipulate these heads in order for them to move in a certain way there. Okay, we have 46 gems, which is a pretty good number. Man. Of course, always lucky. Just gonna defeat this guy normally. I have enough health to cope with it. There we go. Gonna take the refill, and then move on to the cutscene over here. This is the longest cutscene in the game. Effectively what's going to happen here is that Leo is going to be betrayed by the Queen, who's now also has ambitions for power. She wants him to, again, make a contract with Death Toll and all that, but Leo just can't really justify that. They also captured his daughter Lisa, though, as leverage. And then Leo decides to do something that, well, it's going to be very self-explanatory, let's put it that way. So yeah, he convinces the Queen to release Lisa, and then he'll cooperate. He does give us, in secret though, the key to the airship. And, yeah. Yeah. So you're supposed to talk to Lisa now, because she's sad and stuff, but we got a job to do here. Ain't got no time for that. So yeah, this airship will lead us to the next boss, which is going to be Demon Bird, and yeah. It's an RPG, it's a bird, it has demon in front of his name. You can guess what this is all about. Yep, exactly that. So this bird works kind of like, if you're familiar with Mega Man X, this bird works like Storm Eagle, where it's diving and effectively losing you a bunch of time now. Let's see if I can get it here. In the Japanese version only, you can actually one-cycle this guy, and yeah, we got it, because he has less health points. Very nice. In the US version, you're bound to... Let's actually step on it. You're bound to get a 2-cycle on this boss, so... Dives actually hurt in this version a little bit more because you're bound to get them in the US version, almost. In this version, you can get a clean one cycle without any dives and be done with this fight very easily, so yeah. But that's the 6th boss down, and now all we have left is the World of Evil and the final boss, really. How long could that possibly take? You know what we didn't have in this game yet? Didn't grind yet. It's not a good RPG unless you get to grind, right? So first things first, we gotta get our last stone from Magritte, who we released. We're going to be getting an additional item here that we don't have to get, but it's definitely very recommended to do so, which is called the Invulnerable Bracelet. Now, what does it, or Super Bracelet for short, I guess, if you want to. The Power Bracelet, remember, just doubled the attack power. Now, this bracelet also works for the defense, so we get buffed up defense that way. And that's pretty good for the final word of this game, I'm not gonna lie, because that allows you to be a lot more liberal with your damage taking. It's technically not required, it's a time loss, but highly recommended, so. We got the last stone, and since we have all stones, we can now access the World of Evil here. The gate is opening, and we gotta make our way to Death Toll's palace. However, as of right now, Death Toll's palace has not appeared yet. The reason for that is, the master tells us we do need the help of the Phoenix in order to actually activate Death Toll's lair and be able to defeat him. Now, how do we do that? Well, the game tells you gotta find 3 pieces, or 3 items that will help you summon the Phoenix, so that's our next goal here. How you're supposed to know where they are? I don't know. But, yeah. That's really probably the only non-linear thing this game throws at you, and, I mean, it can kind of blow, I suppose, but... Oh, there's another one. Crazy. Okay. So I'm gonna try to spawn these flies in a way where they don't create lag when I shoot magic. Because if I spawn them when the statues are on the screen, that will create lag. Okay. Soul, please. That's not working. Oh, actually, it worked out just fine. Meats. That's good. So yeah, regarding those 3 parts, they're scattered across the world. Fortunately for us, one of them is actually in this World of Evil, which is really nice. And additionally to those parts to summon the Phoenix, we also need to get the ultimate armor and weapon. The Soul Armor that we just got, which it just has the best defense. And additionally, there's going to be spirits on the floor here. Let me quickly use my... Oh, please use it. Thank you. Yeah, whenever these spirits appear, if you don't have the Soul Armor equipped, you'll take damage. So that's one thing the Soul Armor is good for, aside from the amazing defense. And... oh, well, I miscounted. Here, down here, we're going to get the ultimate sword, the Soul Blade, which, requires us to be level 24 to swing it. The Soul Blade pierces through everything. Metal, spirit, doesn't matter. You can kill anything with the Soul Blade, really. So that's a really nice thing about it. But again, you can only swing the sword if you are level 24. Okay, so now we went through the World of Evil, we got everything we needed. The rest is pretty much this, collecting the red hot items. Here we get the red hot ball. And now you're just kind of supposed to know where to go. If you remember though, earlier in the run, there were a couple of enemies that we really couldn't kill. And that is exactly where the game expects you to go with those additional weapons you got now. You're supposed to try out and kill these enemies that earlier you couldn't touch, including these suns here in the Light Shrine. Suns are actually spirit-type enemies, so as soon as you get the spirit sword, you can actually kill them. But yeah, we're waiting for the Soul Blade for obvious reasons, because up until this point, it's really straightforward for us, so no reason to go back and like kill them at a different point in time. The Suns here are going to release a bird, which will have one of the red hot items we're looking for. Hello? Okay, this bird, unfortunately, is very scared. And whenever you get too close to him, he flies away, so you're supposed to get to him from behind, so like this. And he gives you the red hot mirror. If you're playing this game for the first time, you'll probably have a bit of trouble to actually talk to that bird until you figure that specific one out, but yeah. Okay, we got the mirror, we got the ball, now all we need is the stick, and that stick is going to be hiding in this world right here. We're going to have to go back to Dorian, and going to have to seal a layer there. So if there's any donations, right now would be a perfect time. Can I just point out that 133 gems is ridiculous at this point? Glad I'm gonna lose all of it. Okay, thank you for all the donations. And now, after releasing the mermaid there, we're going to Deathward back, Rip Gems. Good night. And that mermaid is going to give us the red hot stick, and with that, we can finally summon the Phoenix. Now, we're supposed to go to the Mountain of Souls for that, though. That is where the Phoenix resides, on the Mountain of Souls. If you remember, that's World 4. Now, you might have noticed also in World 4 earlier, that's the only world I didn't actually talk to the leader of the world, the king, so... Because Gnome the Snail, that was in jail, but had the stone here. Now, if you talk to the king, he first thanks you for rescuing him, and then he will call upon the Phoenix. Now... Dancing Grandmas, by the way, yeah, we can all meme about that, actually, at the actual run. These Grandmas, if you don't release them, you can't get Phoenix. Literally. Like, you need to have the Grandmas dance in order to obtain Phoenix. Now, Phoenix is now available in our magic spell menu, and as soon as you get Phoenix, you get access to Death Toll's Palace at the end of the World of Evil. There's like just one problem. You would think, okay, it's a magic spell, so you can use it, right? Well, the way Phoenix works is you do need to have the Soul Blade and the Soul Armor equipped for it to actually work. And the way it works is whenever you swing your sword, you shoot a Phoenix fire out of your sword swing. You might notice, though, we do need the Soul Blade for it, and if you remember, the requirement for the Soul Blade to be swung is level 24, so guess what we get to do? Yay! We get to grind! Alright, this is gonna take like 1 minute, literally. This is the most efficient spot that we have discovered. For this grinding, every plate here gives us 4,000 experience, and we're effectively going to grind to level 24, which takes... And here's the meme for everybody. 420,000 experience points. Alright. But yeah, anyways. This would also be a good time to read donations, I suppose. Oops. Alright, we're done with grinding, and now we're entering the final boss fight, which has two phases. Death Toll first appears as this wizard here, which you can just kill by hitting him. And then for the last phase, we equip the Phoenix. Every time you swing your sword with Phoenix equipped, you shoot this Phoenix, and it costs you 2 gems, as you can see, so we're well equipped for this fight. Now this is Death Toll, and if you don't have Phoenix, you might notice you can't actually hit him, so yeah, there's that. The way Death Toll works is, whenever you kill these 4 blue flames that appear, he will become vulnerable because he's going to shoot fire at you for a short amount of time, and that's why you have to hit him with the Phoenix. Notable about version differences for this game, this boss works very much differently in this version than in the US version. The basic idea of the boss is the same, however, the cycling works differently. His attack patterns are also slightly off. So, yeah. It's just like, between versions, a bit rough to get used to that, I guess, but yeah. It's not a major difference, really, as long as you remember how he works. Okay, and time is coming up here. On the final hit, when Death Toll starts exploding, you'll notice it. I'm also taking hits very liberally right now, but yeah, there it is, time. And that is Soul Blazer. Or Soul Blader. And that pretty much concludes the submission video. Now, the thing is, I have been commentating over this video a lot. The reality of what is happening here, we are pitching a race for RPG Limit Break, so I would like to raise Stinger. The main reason for that is that this game unfortunately suffers from a lack of incentives, and the race is definitely a very good thing for this game because it's very skill-based, and it's short enough that it, I think, qualifies as a very good race. The thing is that both racers will probably do minimal commentary for that, but there's a bunch of people that run this game that attend the event as well. Most notably, like, popping into my head right now is Genya. So, I mean, Stinger and I could carry this with commentary. As you can see, I can get this time while talking all the time. It's just easier as a racer to actually be able to focus on this game because, like, there's a lot of precise things you have to do in a lot of spots, so that would probably be preferred for us in that case. Other than that, the English version is about 10 minutes slower. I mentioned that. I'm also going to submit my PV video for that version, obviously. Which, the estimates are about, well, we're going to submit 135 and 145, but realistically 130 and 140. But yeah, other than that, I hope you enjoyed viewing this video. I think I did my best, and good luck to us. You on the committee, I'm watching you. Alright, cut. Hi! How are you doing?